In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial of exactly how to use ChatGPT to write high-quality content for your client websites that actually ranks in search. End to end, it's how we create all the content for our clients now. You don't need any expensive tools. You can do this completely inside of ChatGPT. I'm going to walk you through the exact SOP that we use inside of our agency so that you can do it for yourself as well. Before I get into it, I just want to show you what this content looks like and how it performs. So this right here is one of our clients. He's a personal injury attorney. If you're not familiar with personal injury law, it is one of the most competitive SEO spaces on the planet. We got him here in this knowledge graph. I'll pop this open. Here's another one. You can see there's 4 ads on top of here, but what to do after a car accident in Georgia. This is our client right here, Gunprecht Law. You can see he also has this knowledge graph here. I'll just pop this open. These are both 100% written by ChatGPT start to finish. I'm going to give you the exact process that we use inside of this video. So make sure to watch to the end because I'm also going to tell you how you can get access to this SOP that we use so you can just rip it, copy it, and paste it into your own processes as well. So let's take a look at that SOP. If you are a Blueprint Training member, $199, you get access to this SOP and others, templates, step-by-step training videos. So if you do want access to this SOP, sign up for the Blueprint Training and you will get access to it right away. So before I get into the actual tutorial of using ChatGPT, let me just set the table. So we break content marketing into 4 buckets here, sub-processes, if you will, to make sure that we're hitting our goals for our clients. We're creating 10, 20 pages per month for a lot of our clients. And this SOP is our backbone. It literally runs everything that we do here. So bucket 1 is going to be content planning. So that's how we get all the content topics. We have a 3-part process there. 1 is we get topics from a gap analysis that we do during the sales process. 2 is we get existing content topics on the website using our website quality audit. And 3, we have a system to generate new topics that we put inside of a content workbook. So all 3 of these will generate anywhere from 50 to 60 different topics. We put that into a content workbook. Again, inside of the Blueprint Training, I show you exactly how to do this and I give you all of the templates. Now, this is what I want to focus on during this video. This is going to be the content creation process. So it's a 5-part sub process. There's research, there's brief creation, there's writing, there's editing, and then of course there's client approval, and then it goes into content publishing after that. So after we've got the client approved topics, now we begin the content creation process, and it starts with research and content brief creation. Now, if you're doing this for clients and you're working with all sorts of different types of clients, 1, you need the Blueprint Training, so I'll teach you how to get off of that hamster wheel, but 2, you really need to specialize if you want to use AI because AI can be very unpredictable. If you give ChatGPT the same prompts over and over again, you're going to get a different result every single time. And that's really hard to build a business off the back of. So you've got to walk in there with a very, very good system and a template and also a lot of subject matter expertise because we work with lawyers, like I said. And if we walk into a campaign and we're creating content about the law and we don't have any subject matter expertise about it, then the content is probably going to come up as wrong or incorrect or off topic or whatever. Because again, ChatGPT is not always right. It is not necessarily a source of truth. You have to check it. You have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. What I'm not going to tell you to do is give it a single keyword and be like, yeah, write me 10,000 words on this. It doesn't work like that. It's a very strict process that you have to go through and comb through that content to make sure that it's accurate, to make sure that it's up to date, and to make sure that it's representing the content the right way, especially if we want it to rank in search engines, because it has to be factual. So by all means, we are not legal experts per se, but when we've worked with hundreds of law firms over and over again over the years, and we're using content templates that are structured in the way that we can control, then this becomes something that we can get the right output from ChatGPT. And there's a lot of AI writing tools out there. They're cool, they're great. You know, we use tools like Surfer to help optimize the content, but you don't really need them to actually write the content. Again, the key is with ChatGPT, it's conversational, it's iterative, so we can go back and forth with it. We can have it expand, we can have it correct, we can have it do more research, we can have it provide more context. It's conversational. It's almost like if you're speaking directly to the writer writing it in real time, and they had access to an entire database of information that they could use to then create that content. So the first thing that we do here is we pop open one of our content brief templates. Now, again, because we've done this for so many times before in the past, then we've got these templates. But what I do want to show you how to do is how to create your own template. So I'm actually going to teach you how to do this from scratch. Now, again, if you were inside of the Blueprint Training, we'd give you access to these content templates so you can see exactly what they look like. And once you have this, now it becomes a lot easier to work inside of ChatGPT because we've got all the subheadings, we know how they should be targeted, we know what all of the body text should look like, and we're basically just feeding it these prompts one by one and we're having it write it. Now, if we're going to go through and do this from scratch, so if I'm working in a new industry, I'm going to pretend that I'm you and I'm going to help you to build this from scratch, because you don't want to just hear me say, yeah, use templates. So I'm going to show you how to build a brief, an outline from the ground up, because again, we don't want to just walk in and be like, here's the topic, do it. We want to make sure that we have the outline. We want to make sure we check that outline against what's happening in the SERPs. We want to make sure that page is properly built before we let the AI go ahead and do the writing, because otherwise we're going to end up with some output that's probably not going to perform very well, and it's probably not going to be very factual. So the first thing that we do is we head over to Surf for SEO. Again, if you don't have access to Surf for SEO, you can use tools like SEMrush. You can just use actually Google search to do this. I really like Surfer. And again, if you're a Blueprint member, then you get a 25% discount only as a Blueprint member. So it's going to save you a lot of money being a Blueprint member, because we have exclusive access to all sorts of tools and deals. But let's come over here and start by giving the keyword of our choice. So I've already got some of these done. So let's use this one here. So let's say for your agency, for our agency, we do Facebook ad services for lawyers. So let's say we wanted to create a page on our website about this. I put it in here, and Surfer has this really great feature where it basically scrapes the SERPs, and we can do a lot of analysis in here. So again, you can also take this directly and go into Google, but this does a lot of the legwork for us in terms of helping us get context for these things. Context is key with a lot of stuff, because again, if you just give any sort of AI or even a human writer just a topic and you're like, hey, write this, and they're probably going to do some basic research, or they're just going to scrape what's out there and not fully understand the context of what it takes to rank for some of these brutally competitive keywords. So it pulls through all the search results here. What I really, really like, and I'm going to show you, is that we can just click on these things and it gives us a content outline here. So one of the things that you can do is you can copy and paste this, put it into a Word document, and then feed that to ChatGPT and just say, this is an outline, can you rebuild this for me? But you don't have to, because ChatGPT is actually a little bit more intelligent than that. But again, what I like to do is I like to look at the overall keywords here. I like to make sure that I have the main keyword that I want to look at, and then all the additional supporting keywords that might be down here in terms of volume, other things that can help me get context for what this topic is actually about. Sometimes it will pull through questions, popular words, phrases, etc. But I like to just really focus on the keywords here, and then also just using this to kind of do like SERP research to see who's ranking, pop it open, take a look at it, and again, get context for what's ranking. This is an article, 14 actionable tips. This one here is, let's see what this one looks like. A little bit more of a traditional guide. So this is 7 tips. So the first one is 14 tips, this one's 7 tips. So we're starting to see a little bit of relevancy here to understand the top 2 results are listicle based, right? 14 tips, 7 tips. This one looks like it's a step-by-step guide, but it's still broken down into 9 subheadings here that are H2. So again, starting to get a feel for how this is probably should be structured in terms of what is the content that wants to rank here. So it's not a service page. In other words, these are blog posts, and they're broken down into subheadings, numerical subheadings that are breaking down the content into more digestible subjects. So what I forgot to do is actually pop open a content brief template, because we do want to fill one of these out. So what I'll do is I'd make a copy of this. So let's say I'm doing this for a client, this would be like client name. I get rid of the template, and then I put in Facebook ads content brief. And let me actually pop this open here side by side with what we're doing here, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill this out as I go to build this topic for me. So if we're saying that the topic is Facebook ads for lawyers, I can then use Surfer here again, or SEMrush, any of these, to come up with what would be the primary keywords here. So primary keywords are going to be the ones that are kind of variations or just directly supporting that main keyword, that main head keyword that we want to call it, or really the main topic of the page. And then the secondary keywords are going to be keywords that support that topic. So what I mean by that is a lot of people will look at secondary keywords. They would probably just copy all this list and be like, take all the variations and put them as secondary keywords. For me though, what I like to look at is I like to look at subheadings, and I like to look at the context of the page to understand what those should be, because to me, that's what the secondary keywords are. It's not just different keyword variations or keywords with volumes. It's the context that makes up a page that we need to rank for. So for this one here, it's Facebook advertising. This one looks like it is a step-by-step, right? At create your page, head to ads manager, choose an objective, target audience, budget, format, pay, track. So again, this is kind of a step-by-step process. Let's look at the top ranking one here on rankings.io. So this starts with reasons. So it could be like why Facebook ads are important for lawyers. That could be one. Another one could be like Facebook ads setup process. These to me are the secondary keywords. These to me are the things that make up the context of this page. So these are tips. So this would be like Facebook. So this would be retargeting, and they don't have to be exact keywords too. Again, these are much more context for when we want to build the outline of the page. How does it work? So like goal setting, objectives, lead capture, audience targeting. And again, if you remember the previous page before that, then it was telling me kind of the same thing. So you just go through and just, again, use these sections here to get the context for it. For the page type, I like to, this is gonna be a blog post, just seeing what these are. Let's come back over here. So now we're going through this process of filling out the content brief. Like I said, explore the keywords and phrases and familiarize yourself with the topic. Find the highest valuable and relevant keywords. The primary keywords should be the ones that make up the topic and main targeting the page. The secondary keywords are the ones that support the topic and give the page context, like I just said. So now the next thing we want to do is open up the top 5 search results and paste the URLs into ChatGPT, prompting it to give you the word count. So in order to get the word count, we can actually just ask ChatGPT. So if we take these 3, 4, 5, and paste 1, paste 2, paste 3, paste 4, paste 5. So now I'm just going to say, can you analyze these blog posts and tell me the average word count per. So it's a very simple prompt that we'll give it. While that is loading, we'll just come over here, back here. So you can see I gave it here. What's the average word count of these 5 URLs? And then the other thing, like I said, that you can do here too, is you can come over here and you can get the outlines from here as well. So, you know, as you're over here in your content brief, and I like to fill these things out last: title, URL, meta. Those are things that we do at the end of this after we've kind of got the full outline and the content built, because then we can really understand what it's about and what we want it to be about. Let's see what this is doing. So it's summarizing the word count, also giving us a little summary of what's on there. Average word count is going to do some crazy math here for us. So 2675. So this word count should be, we'll just call it 3,000 just to bump it up. The first one is 3,800. So if we want to kind of get on top of that, it should be a recommended word count of 3,000 words. All right. So again, you could go through here, grab the outlines here for more context if you want to skim through it. You know, this is where you can, again, go through that process, if you will. So you can paste those in and build your outline like this. But again, what I like to really do is use ChatGPT for it. So it says, take these top 5 URLs and paste them into ChatGPT with the following prompt. I'm just going to paste this prompt in here and do a little editing. So please take these 5 URLs, those 5 URLs, add them all together, build me an outline that summarizes all of them. Keep in mind, I will be using this outline to write a new page on my own website. So please make sure you are not copying words directly. While you are using these for inspiration, we are not here to copy them word for word. Please provide just the outline. Do not write the entire page. You have to tell that to ChatGPT because it always goes ahead and, you know, kind of will write these things for you without telling you. So while that's writing, I'll just kind of go through the rest of this brief over here. So our content brief templates that we give inside of the Blueprint training give writer and editor instructions, also puts in some sample prompts here for you as well. So this is where an outline that I did inside of our training here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just delete all this stuff because we don't need it, because I'm going to do this custom here for you. What I like to do is I'll take this now, copy it, and I will paste it over here. Now that we've got an outline, what I like to do is go back and compare it to, you know, what I see here. So I can just look at the content outline here, just go head to head. So the first thing they have here is going to be reasons why to use. Again, this is the first one here. So our outline came up with this overview of Facebook ads for law firms, the importance, digital marketing for law firms. And I would call this not digital marketing, but Facebook ads for law firms, and the benefit of using ads for legal practices, setting up your Facebook ad campaign, define advertising goal budgeting, creating effective ads, going through the ad formats. Cool. Okay. Placement, optimization, legal considerations. This is actually pretty solid. So again, it's really, really important to go through this stuff step by step, because you can't just give ChatGPT the free way. Because I guarantee you, if I gave it a different prompt, because I've actually done this before, it would give us a different output. So it's just really, really important to go through this with a fine-tooth comb to understand it. So assuming that we're good with this outline, and we could come back with different things. So for example, if we knew that this was supposed to be a listicle format, I could say, could you reformat this so it is a listicle format instead? Let's see if it can pick up on the list call. Yep. So 10 essential tips, define your advertising goal, set a realistic budget. So again, you can come back and be iterative with it. Target right. And let's see if it gives us the exact same. Implement retargeting strategies, optimize ad placement, test and optimize, ensure compliance. I do like the compliance there because I think it's good for the legal stuff. So this is another option that we could go with. Come back to our SOP and just go through this checklist here. So you need to go back and forth with ChatGPT to get it right. Some common responses that you should have. Make sure the outline is formatted correctly for page type. So if it's a service page, there should be mentions of the business and how we can help. If it's a blog post, it should follow a problem solution framework, meaning the page should be addressing the core problem related to the customer, keyword search, and then offer the article as a solution. So for example, if we're going to make this into a service page for our website, Facebook ad services for lawyers, then this would be the wrong format. It shouldn't be a listicle format. It should be formatted more like a service page. But again, since this one's a blog post, this one actually is okay. And I can actually tackle this problem solution framework and I give it the prompt to write the article. So make sure the outline is targeting the right audience geography. An example of this is the one that I had before this was for an attorney who did living wills, and the article was generically written for living wills, but since he's a Florida-based attorney, it needs to be Florida-based and also needs the mention of Miami. Another thing is to make sure to ask for sources and citations to include. So, when you come back in here, so for example, I would do something like this. For this section, can you please provide sources from legal resources to cite? And now I'll just paste that in. And now it's going to come up with some legal considerations for it. Fine, let's see what it comes up with here. So now you can see this is actually going through all these and coming up with the sources. And some of these we don't want because Rankins is a competitor, Clear is a competitor. These are competitors here. But let's see when so I wouldn't necessarily include these. This is probably just because it's getting the content from there. Compliance. So K6 Agency 618 Media Profile Tree. So this would be something maybe you could just like, what type of legal compliance does a lawyer need to be aware of when advertising on Facebook? So this is what I'm talking about in terms of getting much more specific, going back and forth with it. Bar state advertising rules. So this is really good. Again, this is stuff that we'd probably want to now take and put back into our outline, depending on how we're doing this. So I actually do like the 10 essential tips one here better, the format. So I'm actually going to use this outline here instead. And I might keep the intro here, but I'll delete this here. I don't like any of these sources. These sources are no bueno. I'm just going to remove them because I don't want them. But I would probably do something like this. So you see how this actually gives external links. Sometimes, this is what I'm talking about with ChatGPT. Sometimes it's like, you just really need to go through these things and make sure that they're hyper relevant, because otherwise you can get stuck with things that may not be the best. All right, cool. So yeah, so what we can do is we can take this and now we can use this inside of this section here. So now we basically got that section written, got this done here. Okay, so now we've got an outline. Well, actually, let's go back to our SOP. Don't let me speak without that. All right, so now, again, if you're working with a writer, great. You can just have a writer come in here and do it. You have the outline done. ChatGPT takes a lot off your plate. Now, of course, you're here because you want to write with AI, ChatGPT. WebPilot GPT it's solid. I mean, we were using this a lot before ChatGPT was connected to the internet, but now that ChatGPT is obviously connected to the internet, it's not necessary. So now let's get into the writing of it. So it says your first prompt with ChatGPT should be giving you all the necessary information to create the first article. Give it the overview and what you will tell it, word count, keywords to include, type of page, tone of voice. If it's a bottom funnel page, be sure to include brand information and CTAs. This is important. So like if you're writing a service page, or for our law firm clients who do practice area pages, you have to feed it information about the client. So law firm operates in Miami, Florida. They specialize in XYZ. They've been in business for 25 years. They've serviced over 100 clients. You can rip that off the about page. You have to feed that inside of the prompt because that you want that to be included in the page. Now for a blog post article, this is much more informational. We don't need that type of information in here, but you want to make sure that you're giving all the prompts that you need to give it to. So this says your second prompt should provide the final outline and ask ChatGPT to write a first draft. Once the first draft is completed, it's critical that you go through it line by line and ask for changes and corrections. The more in depth you get, the better the content will become. Go through section by section and ask for words, blah, blah, etc. All right, so let's do this now. I'm just gonna move this into the actual final article. So I'm just gonna paste this down here because I'm gonna use that in the article. Again, we're piecemealing everything together here, right? Keep in mind that this is not, did I get rid of all the sources there? Okay. All right, so I have a prompt up here. So this is a prompt that was built more for a service page. So I'm just gonna take this, come up here, and let's edit this a little bit. I need your help to write this outline into a full article for my website. So I should give it the tone. Short and sensitive word listing. Do not use paragraphs that are more than 3 sentences long. The total length of the article should be no more than, total length of this article should be 3,000 words. Please confirm that that makes sense. Do not start writing yet. Let's see if it listens. So it didn't fully listen. Again, this thing is like a little crackhead here. So let's just give it the full outline now and see what it does. Outline to use, please turn this into the full article that I just described for you. Let's see how she does. Something that you're going to notice with ChatGPT is like the word count thing is very frustrating. Again, that's why you have to keep going through this line by line, just like section by section, which I'll show you in a section. So I'll show you in a second, not a section. Okay, so let's see how it's going. It looks like it's still writing. Actually, it looks like it probably is going to hit that word count here. So let's just start going through this. So overview of Facebook ads. In the digital age, law firms must leverage online advertising. Facebook offers a vast audience. They provide tools for precise targeting, ensuring your messaging reaches potential clients. Benefits. I mean, this is solid. So the one thing, my biggest gripe with ChatGPT is that it can be a subject matter expert, but you really have to push it and you have to use your own knowledge. Again, that's why I obviously run a lot of Facebook ads, so I know this in depth. And my issue with this is that it's just kind of generic. Like, these are all things that we probably already know. How can we dig into this to get it to tell us something that we don't know? So this is hyper unique, and we're really laying on our subject matter expertise on top of this. So in terms of this introduction, it's cool. Let's just get this whole thing out now too. And let's get a word count here to see how much it came up with. Don't make me look dumb, ChatGPT. Yeah, so this was 984 words. We told it 3,000 words. I came up with 984. So we're gonna have to go through and really beef this up. So if we're saying that the introduction, overview, Facebook ads for law firms, we don't need that section there. Digital age, I like to really break this stuff up. So I'm editing this in real time too. The platform, which is actually the next part of this SOP, which is editing. Like, I can't really stress this enough. Like, whether you're a writer or not, you have to go through and manually review this content. And now also too, so we can go through here and we can say, okay, there's a good amount of information in here that we can use to write this article. Like, I guess where I'm getting with this is that we never want to use AI to write the full article. It's a helper and assistant for us to get to where we want to get to by speeding this up, but we never want to rely on it completely because, as you can see, it's a little bit different every single time. So we're using this as a crutch, if you will, to get through this more quickly, but we're not going to do this. So if we're saying that clear, identify your benefits. Okay, so this is all going to be like the introduction here, this section here. So if we were to then say, okay, what about, can you give me 200 words on search engine ads versus Facebook ads for lawyers and why they might choose Facebook instead? So again, trying to beef this up, you know, something that I know that lawyers have to choose against is search versus Facebook. So this could be another section that we'd probably add in here. Benefits as like a subheading, right? So if we did like search engine ads versus Facebook ads for law firms. Why Facebook? So this would be an H2 that we could then come in here and create. And then get another section in here. So this beefs it up. It adds more of that supporting context and it just hits more of those things down there. I didn't read it, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go through the rest of this now too. So define advertising goals, objectives, keep track of spending, invest in quality content, target the right audience. So it looks like it got off of our format here a little bit where they're just gonna have to go through. Okay, so ensure compliance with advertising policy. So this, we've got this written here. So this would be a section that I would probably want to rip and put back in to this section here. So you can just see how we're going literally section by section here, beefing it up. Need to organize this better too in terms of like subheadings. So if we say that set goals, Facebook ad goals align with your objectives. Okay, so if we now make this an H2 here and we say that this is again in the 10 tips, we say that this is tip 1. So clearly identify objectives. And let me just go down to this other section here now too, that I had about policy changes here. So here, add this section in here. I don't know what number this would be. Maybe we call this like 10. That was number 10. And then we sub. This could also probably be its own dedicated article, honestly. And this is kind of the other good thing about ChatGPT is that it spits out so much content. And now we can put these external links in here too that it's cited for us. Advertising standards. Okay, so we will come in here and try and find this. Facebook has its own set of advertising guidelines. Bang, right there. External link. External links are important for content marketing, especially when we're talking about subjects like this. You want to make sure that you have sources. You want to make sure that you cite them. You want to make sure that they are relevant. Profile tree. Okay, so this is citing a web design one, so obviously we don't want this in here. Consultancy, so we might want to do some additional research on that. Okay, I'll make this an H2, conclusion. All right, so let's go back up here. So set goals. Okay, so clear identify objectives. Are you aiming at more leads, but clearly? So like now we can also say a section here about like, we need to beef this up. So we come in here and say, give me 250 words on the different campaign types and goals that Facebook offers. Contextualize it more. So let's see what this comes up with. Yep. So now clearly identify your objectives before launching a Facebook campaign. Define blah, 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 blah. Facebook offers the following campaign types and objectives. So now if we take this in here, we don't need that section there. Let's break this text up a little bit. Okay, so these are H3s. So set Facebook ads goal that align with your objectives. And then we would say, so this could be another subheading. Set realistic budget. It could be set a budget that aligns with your growth goals. And we could even put in like law firms, get some more keywords in that bitch. So give me 250 words on how a law firm can determine the appropriate budget for Facebook ads campaign. However, I want you to talk about how this is an investment, not an expense, meaning they should expect an ROI. And let's see what that does. So again, I don't want this to just be another generic, hey, this is like too generic here, right? So what I'd rather have them do is, like for me, when I pitch advertising, it's an investment, it's not an expense, meaning you're supposed to make money off this. You're not just setting a budget and seeing how it goes as a line item expense. So let's see how this comes out. Right. So now we've got another little subsection there done too. So hopefully by now you understand how to do this, and you can see how this builds on over time. And this is a complete iterative process. And you go through this, you add your color, you add your subject matter expertise, and over time you get to where you want to get to with this article, and ChatGPT does a lot of legwork for you. And ultimately you're going to end up with something that is unique. It's not going to be AI detectable because you keep on going through and you keep on making it unique. It's not just ripping the content that's out there. You're actually putting your own spin on top of it and adding your own color, editing, and subject matter expertise. So if you want this full SOP that teaches you how to do content marketing across your entire agency, if you're doing it for clients or your business, whatever it is, sign up for the Blueprint training. You'll get access to it for $199. You get all these templates, all these systems, processes, SOPs, and step-by-step training that's going to help you implement this. So if not, you can drop me a comment below and let me know what you want to see next. See you in the next video.